What's up, you guys? It's your boy Mighty here from VetFX, and in this video, I just want to make a quick breakdown video of the buy that I took tonight. Yes, I took the buy tonight, and it was my first trade of the week and my only trade of the day. I've been sleeping a lot. The side effects of the jab just got me like drowsy and stuff. So I'm just gonna make this video real quick. You can click the link on the description, subscribe to this channel, and like this video. Click the link on the description for you to see the buy. So now I'm just gonna break it down for you. So going into this, right, on a higher time frame, I have something like this, especially on a daily, starting off the daily, right? So I had made a proper like breakdown video on my PC just now, only to find out that I didn't set my like the software that I use for my screen protector to use the mic as the like input for audio, so the video didn't have any input, so it wasn't like, so I just figured I should do it with on my tab, since I'm also in bed right now. I'm trying to sleep, so yeah. So what I realized on a daily was this point of interest here, this area right here. So what I paid attention to mostly was that last week we had these relative equal lows, right? And then we have this swing low here with an imbalance here. So the imbalance ends after here, and then there's an imbalance, and then there's an imbalance below. So the imbalance ends here. So this area here, I look at it as an area of sell stops. There's going to be sellers trapped below that. There's people that are going to be willing to sell below this low, and there's people that are going to be have bought here, and they have these stop losses below this low here. That's why I see that as like sell stops, right? I also pay attention to where the imbalance is being created as well. We've seen an impulsive move to the downside here, so which makes this area the area of my, like, yeah, right, I have something like that in that area. So I have something like this in this area, like the Fair Valley gap, whatever you want to call it, right? So now I have this area here. I have this area here, and I have my sell stops below this low as well. Below this low as well, right? So when I have my sell stops below this low, let me just try to readjust that. Yeah, it looks proper now. I like making my sell stops black. I'm just gonna make everything a little bit thick for you to see it properly, because I know every time I analyze on the tab, on the video, everything looks very thin. So I'm just gonna make it on the second pixel so that you can be able to see it. So now when I have that, I also do note, pay attention to this zone here. But that's like for real higher time frame analysis purposes. I also pay attention to the zone here. I do note that I have this here, which means I can still likely see price come maybe after tapping into that come here, and then give me a bullish QM to go and create the new record high there. It is still possible for price to come and tap into this area, but now I'm not gonna stick to my I'm not gonna get married to my bias, because that's where a lot of people tend to make mistakes when it comes to trading. Like, they get married to their bias that they forget to see what the market is telling them, and they end up like losing a lot of money or taking a lot of losses because you're married to your buyers. Yes, it's a good thing. That's why there's a lot of people that can analyze but cannot really be profitable. So it's a very good thing to be able to analyze and understand what the market is telling you. So now let me just go to the 4 hour, right? So when I go to the 4 hour, okay, my POIs are no longer visible. Let me set the visibility first. Visibility, I want to see it in hourly and hourly. So when I go into my 4 hour, I still note that okay, we have sell side, sell stops below this low. I forgot to mention that. I forgot to write it as sell stops. Let me see. 32. See what it's gonna be at. Okay, 29. 30. And then below that lows is sell stops. Below those lows is sell stops, and so now we back to this area here. So inside this area, right? Inside this area, there's also this candlestick here, and there's also these, right? This imbalance in here, and these three series of candlesticks is like one bullish order block. So what I do pay attention to, what's inside that is this imbalance here. I make my imbalance blue inside the 4 hour, right? Nah, it's a little bit too high. So now we traded inside this imbalance, and it's also inside the daily point of interest, so which makes it a very valid area for me to want to consider my buys. So now I do notice that remember on a higher time frame, right? On a higher time frame, I have these sell stops here, right? Let me just use a different color. So I have these sell stops here, right? So now that I'm tapping into the imbalance here, and I can also see what kind of price action transpired here, right? I can pay attention to that. I can see now that, like, yeah, we are accumulating. We might see something like that form, right? This is hypothetically something that might form. So this is now the first TP based off the higher time frame, the 4 hour time frame. I have to see the market come and trade above that. So this is going to be my break of a structure, and then my return to something like here, and then we're going to take out these highs, hopefully, right? So but I have to pay attention to my smaller time frame as well and do as it tells me, because now I cannot disregard things like these other blocks, imbalances as well here. Like we have an imbalance here, but let me just go back down there to focus mainly on the entry. Before I go there, let me show you how my first target objective was, right? My first target objective is to see price coming and tap into this here, this imbalance here. But so far my first target objective has been met there. So now let's go back to a smaller time frame for the entry, right? Let me label, make this a different color first so that we don't confuse it with other lines in this smaller time frame. Yeah, so that's it. So now this is like my first 1 hour target objective first, because I want to fill this before I look at the break of market structures and run off liquidity in that, or based off the 1 hour time frame, right? So now when I come to my smaller time frame, I see like, okay, I had the market. Remember when I used to do the QM videos, right? So now we have something like what's the color black here? I want something that's black, man. Okay, let me just use this one. So remember in QMs, if you had the chance or the privilege to see the QM videos that I used to post before I deleted them here on YouTube, I used to have something like this, right? So this is the QM that transpired, because this is like a run of liquidity. This is your BOS, and this is like liquidity inducement, and this is like filling the imbalance, or IFC. This is what you are seeing in this scenario here. This is the run of the liquidity. This is a break of a structure. This is the liquidity inducement. Now we're filling the IFC, the imbalance right there. So this is your IFC, right? So if you're not really sure about this, or you feel like placing your entry and placing a stop loss on this low is like a very big stop loss, is still okay. You can still wait for confirmation when the market gets to this zone. You can still wait for confirmation there. So now what I did was, I was like, okay, since this is my 5 minutes point of interest, right? The new point of interest now, since we broke structure here to the upside, right? So now go to my 1 minute time frame at the very same area. So the very same thing that I saw happening on a smaller time frame, I want to see happening on a higher time frame. So on a 5 minute, I see now that as we approach this, we start to have like a change of character in the market, right? So when I see something like this, I understand initially what is happening, right? I understand initially what is happening, because now I have something like this, right? High. Now we break these highs, we take out the liquidity, we reach for that. Now we do this. So now for somebody that isn't really aware of the things that are happening, let me just place here this line here. So now the people that are like in like my private group, they will understand this better, what I'm currently doing now. I think they will understand this better as a breakdown, right? Oh man, I want to see this slowly. Yeah. So now I think they will understand. They will have a better understanding, or better yet, they do have a better understanding of this. Because now, when you tap into the area like that, you have to take note of the liquidity. The very same thing that you do on a higher time frame, you have to do on a smaller time frame. You have to, when you step into your order blocks, like your points of interest, you have to be aware of the liquidity first. Like, where is the liquidity in this area? I feel comfortable trading areas that show me liquidity first before anything else, right? So now now I see like, okay, this area has this a sell side liquidity. So when we get to the sell side liquidity, what do we do is the very important part. That's a very important part, because now I have, as I come into that, we have something like this, right? And now we have something like this, and then we have something like this, we have something like this, we have this, and we have that. If you didn't catch the entry off here, you can catch the entry off here. That is a fact. You can catch it off this high of this candlestick if you didn't catch it off this, right? And one thing that I recommend and I advise is that when you have like a morning star, right, with two candles on the side, yeah, man, I draw like a baby. Yeah, this looked like sorry, a dog or something. So I recommend you take the entry at the body of the middle candlestick. The body of the middle candlestick is where you take the entry when the market comes back for a retest. That's how I recommend trading, like these things, right? Morning stars and your evening stars. That's how I trade them. Did I do too much here? Wasn't this one thing? Okay, let me just leave that alone. So now when I got here, I realized that I have like a low, a high, a low, a high. Then I have these. So I took my entry off the body of that area, right? So I took flight from there. So taking flight from there, let me get rid of these. Let's see if I can get rid of. So if you go into the group and look at my entry is somewhere here. The body of this candle, I took it with market execution here. The body of this candle here, that's where I took my entry from. So right when I take my entry from here, this was the most precise entry that I've ever taken this week. And the reason why I have that ultra tight stop loss here is because I don't have any candle that has a low that is lower than this one here. So if this candle's low was about here, I was going to place my stop loss below that low. So now the candle is here, so I just place my stop loss somewhere there. You know, my stop loss was very ultra tight on this one. So my first target objective, remember, is like my target objective is the 1 on a 1 hour time frame. So it's like this, right? This is the imbalance on the 1 hour time frame that I wanted to see the market fill. So that was about a 1:77 risk reward ratio trade. Even though on my stop loss was a little bit less than this one here, but yeah, it's accurate. It's somewhere there. So it's like precision now. It's like precision, because now if I had waited for the market to just come and fill these, or I take my trade there and these, place my stop loss out, yeah. So this is the scenario that I'm talking about. So if I was to take my trade on this high, I was gonna place my stop loss on this low. But in this case, I don't have a low at this region to place my stop loss on that is lower than the current low. So now I have to place it just below that low. So waiting for these, knowing that it's a POI on a 5-minute time frame, and recognizing that this is a sell-side liquidity, this is what I want to see, a QM form. The people that are in my private group, they do understand that. I'm pretty sure they do understand that more than anything else, because that's how we trade. There's certain things that I no longer explain here on YouTube, but there's certain things that we want to see apply in the market. So that is just that. I wanted to see price filling into these first, and we did exactly that. So now price can do whatever it wants I just liquidated my positions, but I didn't liquidate all of them. I left one position that is running. It's currently running nicely. So yeah, I'll just post the updates on the trade for you. So now what I can expect is if I break above these highs and these highs, price to come and look at this as sell side liquidity, and then price to come and retest this breaker here, which is going to be now my bullish breaker. So when price comes back with the one position that is running, current position that is running, I'm not gonna be panicky and stuff like that. I'm just going to attempt a trade here, knowing that the capital that I'm going to be, and when I attempt a trade here, I'm going to be using my very same confirmation rules that I'm using, and also knowing that the capital, the risk here is protected by the trade that I took at the bottom there. So man, I hope you find this very insightful. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and click the link on the description to follow my free public Telegram channel. Even though I don't post a lot these days, I get busy, you know. I try to push some stuff, business stuff, personal life stuff, and things like that, man. So I'm focused more. Plus, I'm always doing one-on-one private Zoom sessions, you know. So I have a lot in my hands these days. I don't really have too much time to myself. The time that I get, I make sure that I spend it to myself and the people that I should spend it with, because when it's time to work, it's time to work. So peace out, man. I hope you find this very insightful, and yeah, good night.